everyone, it's Elsie here and I have another Pink Fresh Studio layout for you today. I'm using the Out and About collection, which is a vacation, travel, outdoorsy kind of theme collection, so decided to create a page along those lines. And as you can see, I'm kind of creating a little tent as an embellishment on my page. And I'm going to do some paper piecing, which is one of my favourite techniques ever. But it's a lot easier, I'm going to say this, with a die cutting machine. I do have one, but before I got my die cutting machine, I used to do all of this by hand. And yeah, I'm just going to be honest, I wasn't feeling like using technology this day. So I decided to, just draw it myself. So what I'm doing here, I drew the design on just some plain paper with a pencil, and now I'm using some tracing paper just to trace the over the image, and I'm going to trace on the front and the back so I can get the whatever pieces I need from the pattern papers. And the tracing paper just allows you to transfer the pencil onto the pattern papers, so you can see where you need to cut things out and sort of piece together all the little pieces that you draw on the design and cut them out. Did that make any sense? I feel like I was just saying words without much coherent thought behind them, but yes, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It was just really fun to sort of do this technique again. I haven't done it in a while because, like I said, I do have my Cameo, and yeah, it's just nice to sort of bring it back to basics a little bit. And I absolutely adore that sort of pale pinky red geometric pattern. It's my favourite pattern in the collection, and so I knew I wanted the main body, I guess, of the tent to be that pattern. And yeah, I hate camping. This layout is ironically about hating how much I hate camping. So yeah, but I would be more inclined to go camping if tents look that cute. Well, you'll see the end result. But yeah, I also love that teal colour that I'm cutting out now, and that pattern. It's just a really, really lovely sort of simple basic pattern, but just that colour is just so gorgeous. It's like a really deep teal. I'm obsessed with it. So this part is obviously like a little bit fiddly, and it just requires a little bit of sort of chopping and changing and making things a bit more accurate, and trimming things off and adding things and things like that. It's just a bit of experimenting, and it did take a while to do this. Obviously, if I used a cut file or something like that, it would have been a lot simpler and easier and quicker. But yeah, when you can't find the exact cut file that you want, I did look. I couldn't find one that I particularly liked, so just decided to draw it myself. And yeah, it's pretty easy, and it's just nice to sort of create your own sort of embellishment that's completely unique. It was just really nice to do. So now I'm sort of cut out all the pieces, and I'm going to stick them all together on some white cardstock, and that just provides like a base for me to make sure everything's all lined up and everything else like that. So I'm cutting down into a lot of the papers so they're not overlapping and they're not becoming too thick, because I'm going to stitch through them. So I didn't want to stitch through like 3 or 4 layers of paper, so that's why I'm cutting into it maybe a bit more than I would have if I wasn't going to stitch. And I really didn't need to hand stitch, but you can kind of tell what the design is without the hand stitching. But I really, really love the way the hand stitching just made it all sort of come together. So now I'm just sort of gluing everything down, and I'm using some glue in a fine line bottle. I use, in case you're wondering, it's really good glue. It's called, hang on, let me find it. Impex Original High Tack Glue. And it dries clear and it's pretty fast drying. Works really well in my fine line bottle, and yeah, it makes, if you do hand stitching like me, because it dries pretty quickly, and it doesn't stay tacky like double-sided tape does, so it works really well when you're hand stitching. You know, your needle doesn't get stuck through all those layers of paper and adhesive. So as you can see, I've trimmed the white cardstock down, and now I've got my piercing mat and my piercing tool out to poke all the holes. And what I like to do with my hand stitching is sort of poke at the corners, sort of at the junctures where sort of different colours or lines meet, and yeah, that way I can get kind of the spacing between the holes absolutely perfectly aligned, if that makes sense. So now I'm creating the layout, and I sort of was thinking about, okay, what do I do on this page, because I hadn't really thought about the design beyond making this little tent. So I went through my Pink Fresh stamps, and I found this Escape the Ordinary stamp set, which is still available in the shop, and obviously I'll have that link below. And I thought, okay, well, let's do something with that, because that's very outdoorsy themed and I think that would work well. And then I wanted to sort of create something for the tent to kind of sit on. So I'm going to sort of create the look of grass with a couple of Distress Oxide inks and a blending tool. And yeah, I didn't want this to be like a really in-your-face bit. I just wanted a hint of sort of earth underneath the tent. And yeah, I'm using the Bundled Sage and Evergreen Bough inks, and as you can see, I'm not exactly getting a perfect blend or anything like that. I'm not being particularly neat about it because you know, this is quote unquote grass, so it's not going to be perfectly blended or anything like that. I just made sure it was a bit more concentrated towards where the tent is, and then faded it out a little bit more towards the bottom of the page. And yeah, this combination of colours just works so well with this collection, and it actually ended up basically being the same colour as the grass in my photo, which is the kind of detail that makes me ridiculously happy. But now I'm using that Escape the Ordinary stamp set and using some VersaFine Onyx black ink to stamp those little mountains. I thought they'd make a really cute embellishment, you know, just to help set the scene of this page. And now I'm sticking my photo down, and yeah, I wanted to make sure it stayed in that exact spot, so I really awkwardly held it down whilst I put the adhesive on the back. And then I'm popping the little tent over the photo. The photo's got like a load of white space on it, so I thought yeah, I really like the way the tent kind of you know, blends in with the photo in a way. And the photo is not one of me camping or anything like that. It's just me outside looking like a bit of an idiot. But my printer's broken, so I couldn't print off the photo that I wanted to, but I actually really like the way this photo worked out. So yeah, and now I'm using the alphas in this collection to write the Let's Go title. And yeah, one thing I really appreciated about these alphas is that they contained apostrophes, and yeah, it's just that kind of grammar that I appreciate, because not a lot of alphas like include stuff like that. So yes, I was very happy with that. And then I needed sort of another set of alphas to sort of complete my title, but yeah, it just wasn't the right colours, and I just picked all those mini alphas from a load of recent Pink Fresh collections. So now I'm just chopping around, seeing what could work where, and then I dived into the ephemera pack and I found that die cut that's kind of like a yellow circle and it has some text around it, and I thought, brilliant, that looks like a sun. So I tucked that into behind one of the little clouds that I punched out, and yeah, that just made me really happy, and it's a really lovely yellow colour. So yeah, it just worked well, I thought. And now I'm popping some foam adhesive behind those punched clouds. I used my Fiskars cloud punch to punch those out, and yeah, I ended up actually taking all that foam off. I just thought it looked a bit too distracting with all that dimension, so yeah, I saved you from watching that though, because that was very boring and tedious. So now I've dug into the Puffy stickers in this collection, and I had to use that little flag on the corner of my photo. I just absolutely love that. It's I think my favourite embellishment in the collection. I also found that little ticket die cut, which I added the date to. But yeah, I'm really sorry. My camera just lost a load of the footage of me creating that sort of the secondary title. But I just used the same alphas as before, but popped them on the bottom left hand corner of the page, and I felt like that just balanced the design out really well. So in full, my title reads "Let's go home," because if I'm going to be honest, that's what I would be saying if I was camping. I have camped a fair few times before and I've hated it every single time. So yeah, I'm definitely not an outdoorsy person. I wish I was. But yeah, I like creature comforts, really. Yeah, I like taking my dog out on country walks, but it's also nice knowing that I can go home 2 hours later. So yeah, definitely I like my creature comforts. But yeah, I had fun creating this page. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the result and watching the process. I hope you're inspired to try some of your own paper piecing. It's really fun and pretty easy, so yeah, hope you've got some inspiration. I'll leave links to all the products I use down below. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.